Yeah, we've been waiting to get out here. Day one, exciting to get out here. A lot of things going on. We've changed quite a few things with our offense and what we're doing, and obviously there's a number of changes defensively going on with a new coaching staff and a new defensive coordinator and a lot of new terminology that's being thrown at these players. But love the effort and the attitude and the way they're running around out here. But we got a lot of development still to go. I mean, a lot of development. We've got about 20 new walk-ons that are out here that are running around for the first time. So right now it looks like a little bit of a fire drill, but it's going to get better. It's going to get better every day. It's nice to see some of the carryover with some of the upperclassmen, but there's a lot of new faces out here that are going through it for the first time. So overall, I like the way they came out here and worked. We're going to have an opportunity to watch film and continue to get better, and that's the word I keep talking about, the process that we have to go through, that we have to continue to develop many of the players that are already in the program right now.
Looking at it, maybe
overall goals for the spring. I mean, obviously, we've got to teach the terminology with what we're trying to do. We got to teach it from a terminology standpoint. We've got to develop the depth charts, which will be developed as we go through the spring practices and the spring scrimmages. But we've really got to develop an identity and a confidence on both offense and defense. I think we've got to continue to make some strides and progress on defense, but we've got to develop an identity and some confidence offensively. And lastly, we've got to set a standard. We've got to set a standard that we hold everybody accountable to, not just us as coaches, but peer pressure, that we all hit the standard and what we're trying to reach every day. It's a situation that in this sport you get what you earn. You're not given anything, and we got an awful lot we still have yet to earn.
Coach, you talked about some changes you want to make on offense today. A lot of new wrinkles running-wise. Is that some of the changes y'all have made?
I mean, that's some of it. I mean, we're trying to have the ability to get a little bit bigger, which we haven't had the ability to do without a tight end or a fullback. We're trying to get a little bit bigger in some of our formations, trying to move some things around and looking at a couple different options. And probably the biggest thing, if you came to practice in the past, has been the implementation of the huddle. You know, guys getting in and out of a huddle and being able to communicate a little bit more. And it's something that we need right now with a young quarterback. We need the communication time that those guys spend in the huddle.
And looking at Manny Diaz, it was the first chance that we kind of got to see him. He's an intense guy. He's at the line of scrimmage, and is that kind of what makes him special?
Well, I mean, I think there's a couple things that make him special. I think he's a attention to detail guy. He crosses T's and dots I's. He's every little detail through the course of practice. I think he's really organized with what he's doing. He knows the game. He knows what he wants to do defensively. He knows what he wants, and he knows what he wants his players to do. But yet he comes out here on the field and he coaches with great passion. I love the energy that he coaches with, because that's where it all starts.
Do you expect your secondary to take a next step, since they were kind of young last year, but now they're kind of the better group?
Well, when you look at, that's where we have so much of the experience returning on this football team. A year ago, we had 7 new guys in the back end, and I say back end, the linebackers and the secondary. Where this year you've got pretty much everybody back but one guy. And so when you look out there and you see Liggins and Barnes and Abraham, and you're looking at your linebackers and you're seeing guys like Schrang, and you're looking at Bo Feet and some of these guys that have been here, yeah, I do expect them to take another step forward. And I think from what I saw today, there's nothing I saw today that we shouldn't all expect for them to get a little bit better on the back end.
Defensively, I mean, of course your secondary is going to be your strength. You lost a lot on your defensive line.
We did.
But you've got a lot of athleticism coming back. How do you feel about that defensive line?
Well, I like it. I mean, I just don't know the depth we have right now. When you look at names like Vernon Butler and Kissaberth, and you start talking about Taylor, I mean, D'Angelo Brooks, I mean, there's a lot of guys that played a lot of football. Pishon, there's still a lot of guys that have played a lot of football for us. So it's not like there's going to be a whole lot of new faces. What we don't have right now, and what we've got to identify, is that depth. How is Hakeem Gray going to come along as a young player? McKinney has got to keep coming. You know, we don't have Dorr out here this spring, you know, which kind of puts a little bit of a hole in the defensive line, but it gives some of these other guys an opportunity to step up. So I'm anxious to watch the depth continue to develop, but there's no doubt I feel really good about what's coming back defensively, because we have so many guys that have played so much. Offensively, I mean, you know, you've got a couple new receivers and some new faces running around, and a lot of new faces on the offensive line, but that's where kind of in a second year in a row you feel feel like you're building a straw house and you're just kind of sticking straw in the holes a little bit, where you're trying to plug some things in. But that's one of the challenges that we have, is really coming together and developing that identity that we talked about.
Well, the other guys get here?
Well, it is, without a doubt. And I mean, right now, Andy McClendon got a lot of work today. Andy got just as many reps as Scotty Young and Ryan did today. I think those guys are going to have to take it, if they want it this spring, because when we get into the fall, there are going to be a lot of new faces here at the quarterback position and some other positions as well. But I definitely think it's going to be an opportunity for them. But early, we're going to let everybody roll a little bit, and then we're going to have to start to narrow that down in a hurry and decide which one or two quarterbacks we're going to get the brunt of the work.
How big of an opportunity is it for a lot of these guys to secure a job? How much, I guess, do you put their stock into in spring?
Well, I've always said that you earn a job in the spring, then it's yours in the fall. But underclassmen have the opportunity to play because upperclassmen give them a chance. If they want that starting position, they got to secure it now, and it's not necessarily competing against the guy that's in front of them or behind them, but it's competing against that standard that it's going to take for us to compete at a conference championship level. And if they don't take it during the spring, the next time we're going to be on the field, I'm going to give some of those underclassmen an opportunity to. But if we'll go ahead and secure it with the upperclassmen, and some of them will take that starting position now, it's a great opportunity to earn it in the spring. It makes it a heck of a lot easier than going into the fall and trying to find it in the fall, because there's going to be a lot more competition on the field.
So that's what you're expecting from your offensive line this spring?
Expectations to try and bring them together. You've got, Brunson's new, didn't play. Kirby Wixon's new, did not play. Darryl Brown did not play. Greenwald didn't play. You got a whole lot of bodies that didn't play again, and that's what I referred to when I talked about you're kind of patchworking everything again for a second year in a row, just trying to put guys in and trying to gel them together. And hopefully this group's going to be together for a couple years, but right now we got to gel them together, get them to where that they can play together as a unit right now, because it's hard to do. Most of these guys, when you look at our offense, there's only 6 guys that were initial high school freshmen on this offensive team, and we've been here 1 year. You only have 6 high school initials, and that isn't many. And so when you look at it, a lot of this team has been put together, especially offensively, in a patchwork situation. And so as many days as we can get out here on these practice fields, trying to mesh together and become a one unit, the better opportunity we have to come together.
And your running game is obviously one of the strengths of your team, but what can that do to get to the next level?
Well, the running backs, just like in the secondary we talked about, that's where we have the largest number of guys returning that have an awful lot of talent. I think, obviously Kenneth Dixon and Tevin King and Blake Martin and Marlon Seats, and those guys have been in the offense for a year, and we're all here a year ago and running around. So going out there, they're kind of like our secondary right now. They're kind of clicking at a pretty high level, a different level than a lot of other aspects of the team right now.